The Cincinnati Bengals have made their first off-season extension, and no, it's not who you're thinking about, but those three names have been mentioned in a report today. Before I jump into all of those reports going over today, make sure you hit that subscribe button. 85% of you are not subscribed watching this video. We're on the road to 1,000, just about to hit 900 subscribers, and I can't thank you guys enough for all the love you've shown this channel. But the goal is to get to 1,000 before the end of February, and I know we can do it. But let's jump right into the report, starting with Bengals announced contract extension for punter Ryan Rehkow. You might be saying, why the crap are we talking about a punter? It's because this guy is good, and he's a rookie, and he broke records. Rehkow not only set Bengals franchise records in multiple categories, including single-season gross average, 49.1 yards, single-season net average, 43.3, longest punt, 80 yards, and best single-game average, 64.5 yards. He did all this his rookie seasons. Obviously, last year we drafted Brad Robbins out of Michigan. He didn't turn out so well. This year we draft Ryan Rehkow out of BYU. He turns out to be the punter for our future, and I think the punter is probably one of the most underrated positions. It's not one that's talked about a lot, but the advantage of having a punter who can flip the field, especially in late game scenarios, is massive, and the Cincinnati Bengals have just that. Once again, for just the Bengals records, he set the single-season gross average for 49.1 yards, single-season net average for 43.3 yards. He had the longest punt, 80, which came in his first career game, and the best single-game average, 64.5 yards. I'm pretty sure that was also in his first game. He also has some NFL records. Ready? Rehkow's first NFL punt went for 57 yards, and he launched his second 80 yards, setting the franchise record. By the end of the day, Rehkow was the only bright spot in the 16-10 upset loss to the New England Patriots that ultimately lost the Bengals a playoff berth. Obviously, later on, a few weeks later, Rehkow did have one of his own mistakes where he dropped the mishandled the snap of the place kick to beat the Ravens in overtime, which also would have sent it to the playoffs. But there was multiple things that went into that. One, we should not have been settling for a field goal when we were at the 50-yard line, so that's not on him at all. Not only did his 64.5-yard average that day set a single game franchise record, minimum of 4 punts, it was by far the best average of any debut performance in league history. Only 11 other punters topped a 50-yard average in their first NFL game. So Rehkow, in his first NFL game, set the franchise record and the NFL record for average punt yards in his debut game for 64.5. Also had a 80-yard punt in that game, which, of course, set the franchise record. I know this might not be the most glamorous news to talk about, but Ryan Rehkow, I enjoy a lot. I think he's a great punter. Through interviews, I think he's a great guy, and I think this is it's a win for the front office. The front office has been, for whatever reason, a major topic in national sports news or shows this week, calling us cheap, which is not wrong, saying we're not going to sign everybody, which I think is wrong. But it's weird. There's a narrative where the Cincinnati Bengals are way too cheap, but if we pay everybody they're telling us to pay, then we're going to overspend for those players. So the national news and sports shows have to kind of pick a narrative. For whatever reason, they don't like the Cincinnati Bengals. For whatever reason, I don't know why. We haven't done anything, so I don't know why people hate us. But either we're too cheap or we're spending too much money. So I don't know. But this is a great move by the front office, and it is a great starting point for this offseason, which is the most crucial offseason in the Bengals history. And I think this was a great way to start it, getting a solidified punter who can flip the field, which will help in the next 2 seasons. We signed him to a 2-year extension, so he is signed through 2027. This is the next report. Obviously, the big three that we have been talking about for weeks. Report Bengals to pursue new contracts for Higgins, Trey Hendrickson, and Jamar Chase. So this report is coming from ESPN Jeremy Fowler's. This is what he had to say. The team will attempt to secure a trio of stars who need new deals. Wide receivers Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and defensive end Trey Hendrickson for the long-term deal, Fowler wrote. Whether Cincinnati can pull it off remains uncertain, but the team's messaging behind the scenes is that it's certainly going to try. So now it is confirmed. Yesterday it was confirmed that the Cincinnati Bengals are open and will use the franchise tag on T. Higgins if they can't come to a deal. And now today it is confirmed behind the scenes that Cincinnati is working to make sure Ja'Marr Chase, T. Higgins, and Trey Hendrickson are on the team going forward. This goes on a little bit longer. That starts with Higgins, who is set to hit free agency March 12th. One team source says they believe the Bengals will use the franchise tag on Higgins if no long-term deal is reached by the March 4th tag deadline. In order to have time to get a deal done, can't let him walk. Like we talked about yesterday, the biggest thing going forward with T. Higgins is to make sure that the deal is finished before the March 4th deadline. Because if not, then the Bengals would use the franchise tag. And that is the smart thing to do, because if they franchise tag him, no matter what happens, the Bengals would be getting something out of it. If you just let him walk, like this says, the Bengals source, in order to have time to get a deal done, can't let him walk. That is the last thing Cincinnati Bengals can do. Can't let him walk. But if you franchise tag him, you make sure he can't walk. You're going to get at least something back or trade him for value. But the name that's not on this list, right? The team will attempt to secure a trio of stars who need new deals. Maybe they don't classify this guy who I'm thinking of as a star, but the three names named in this report is Ja'Marr Chase, T. Higgins, and Trey Hendrickson. There's one more guy on the Cincinnati Bengals that Joe Burrow has outspokenly said wants to have an extension, and that's Mike Gesicki. But he's not named on this report. So I think you guys know exactly what that means to me. I think Tyler Warren's going to be a Cincinnati Bengal. This is wishful thinking, I know that. And I do want Mike Gesicki to get, if he was extended, I would be very happy and very pleased with that. But I'm going to continue to push the Tyler Warren narrative. And I know you guys always come at me in the comments talking about this tight end from Penn State, saying we need to go get the trenches. And yes, I agree with you. There is a lot of holes in Cincinnati, but I am tired. Once again, I'm tired of the rotation of tight ends year after year after year. And if we can't afford, or the Cincinnati Bengals front office feel that we can't afford Mike G, I think the only logical option is going to go get Tyler Warren in the draft. He's an absolute freak of an athlete. He's a generational talent. He might be the generational talent in this year's draft, excluding Travis Hunter. He can do it all. He can be your center. He can be your tight end. He can be your fullback. He can be your running back. He can be your quarterback. He has done it all in college very well. Go watch his highlights from 2024. The man's a freaking beast. And I'm just saying, if Mike Gesicki walks in free agency and he's not a Bengal in 2025, watch out for the 17th pick if he falls. There's a lot of reports that the Cardinals or the Colts might take him before us. But if he falls to 17, don't be surprised if the Cincinnati Bengals pick up Tyler Warren. Because this is coming from another report today that apparently Walter Nolan, the defensive tackle from Ole Miss, has reported to have a little bit of locker room issues. I don't know how true that report is, but I think the Cincinnati Bengals, after the whole scandal with Jermaine Burton they're currently working through, I think they're going to be more a little less lenient on players that have been known for locker room issues. I've never heard anything about Walter Nolan, but if this report is true, I think Cincinnati might take a step back, not wanting to go through something like they went through this year with Jermaine Burton. Tyler Warren, he don't have no locker room issues. The man is just a dog. That's all you got to know. But I will be talking about Tyler Warren for the foreseeable future until it is 100% guaranteed he's not going to be a Bengal. But as of right now, I think it is a very high possibility, and I think it would be a smart move. Imagine if they sign all those players, right? Then you have Ja'Marr Chase, T. Higgins, Andre Yoshivash, Tyler Warren, Chase Brown, Joe Burrow. Go get Cam Scadaboo or Ollie Gordon late in the draft. Boom. Best offense in the NFL. But thank you guys so much for watching this Bengals Digest video. Don't forget to subscribe. Once again, going on the road to 1,000 subscribers by the end of February. Only 14% of you watching right now are subscribed. So please do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you share this video with your Bengals friends, because Bengal football is better together. Like this video. Comment down below how you feel about the signing of Ryan Rehkow and what you expect the Bengals to do with Ja'Marr Chase, T. Higgins, and Trey Hendrickson. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm Carson Lokey for the Bengals Digest channel. I'll see you next time.